Hi, this is DH Dunn, and I'm here to ask myself a very simple question. After 20 Can I Lope challenges, how would I rank them? I realized as we're on the wrap-up stage for a game show and preparing for our next challenge, I realized today that there are in fact 20 of these that we have done. Now that is not including map deep dives like Black Rock and we didn't do Timberwolf Mountain yet. That's on the plans, but it doesn't include one-offs, walking backwards, things like that. It doesn't include the weekend series, just specifically Can I Lope with some kind of specific challenge. And so I thought it would be interesting to go through them and, just kind of reflect back. So I'm going to talk about each of the challenges. I haven't prepped for this other than to put the thumbnail images up. And let's see, can I remember what the challenge rules were? What's my memory of the experience? And then where would I rank it? So the top ranking is fun and challenging, and I would do it again. The second ranking is that it was fun and challenging, but I wouldn't do it again for whatever reason. And I should have to explain why. Third ranking is it was fun, but not challenging, or it was challenging, but not fun. And then the other two are kind of nebulous. Need some tweaks is, I probably could do this one again, but I would need to change some things. There were some problems with it, whatever. And then finally, just a complete misfire for whatever reason. And I think that's about it. I'm going to edit this. Now, it's funny. I'm on Zach's Patreon, and Zaknafein, and he has a tier list coming out tomorrow, too. I did not know that when I set up to do this, and now, I hate stuff like that. It's like Ants and Bugs Life coming out at the same time. Except I am an ant compared to Zach. But anyway, so let's start off. I alphabetized these for the most part. I made one mistake, which really frustrates me. But the tier list system is actually really hard to move things around, or I just don't know how. So we're just going to get into it. So we will start with Afflicted. So Afflicted, in my memory, is kind of in the January-ish time frame of this year. I think the rules were that I had to get every affliction that you could get, or as many that were possible, other than region-specific ones. Like chemical poisoning, you have to go specifically to zone of contamination to get that. Things like that. But everything else I had to get. And I remember it being really fun. I remember really enjoying it. It was interesting to try to figure out how to get all the different afflictions. I didn't have to have them all at the same time. And some of them were funnier to try to get than I thought. I remember trying to get frostbite without getting like trying to get hypothermia without getting frostbite, or vice versa. Or I remember being outside the Mountaineers in Timberwolf Mountain and trying to figure out how to do that. A lot of the afflictions were really fun to try to make happen and not die and to still live 10 days. As I remember, I succeeded with this one. I'm not sure, but I think I did. I don't think I'm going to put this in no repeat, but it was fun and challenging. I don't think I would do it again because I don't think there's necessarily another way to approach it other than the way I did. And I do think I got them all. And it was very fun. I did really enjoy that. So Can I Lope 10 Days Afflicted was definitely, it was a good time. I'm smiling just thinking about it. I mean, I have fun with all of them. Let's put that on the table now. My worst experience is still a good one because I always have a good time. All right, Can I Lope 10 Days with Bloodlust. This is the second one I did. After No Fire, I did Bloodlust, and I remember doing a poll on my Discord for which one would I do first, and I thought Bloodlust would win because it's, blood. But it came in second, so I did that for the second one. And the big thing I remember about Bloodlust, so the rules for Bloodlust were a little complicated. Hard to explain, they're not actually that complicated, but short version is I had to kill something every day. Okay, well you could easily just kill a rabbit every day and you'd be fine, or a ptarmigan every day. So rabbits and ptarmigans had a cooldown on them. If I killed one, I had to wait, I think, 3 days before I could kill another one. And I had to kill something inside a 24-hour period, and if I didn't kill something, I had to go get mauled until I bled. And my memory is I did have to do that one time. And I think on day 3, I had already used up my rabbit and my ptarmigan, and I had to go intentionally get into a wolf struggle so that the wolf would bleed. My memory is, we just put a supercut out on this one, so I'm not 100% on this, but my memory is we got to like day 9 and didn't make it. And I think there was somewhere around day 4 or day 5, I was going to fail. And then I found Larry, Zach's rabbit, in the Bleak Inlet Cave. And you're not supposed to kill Larry. And I did kill Larry. And then I don't think I survived. So, that was fun and challenging. Would I do it again? I'm not sure. I think that one also goes in. I wouldn't repeat it, but it was very fun and very challenging. I have good memories of that one. Okay, can I lope 10 days on a budget? So the idea here was that I had a certain amount of money to spend per day, and different things that you could loot cost money, and I think I could find money as well. I liked this one, but I think it needs some tweaks. I'm going to put that into needs some tweaks, which means we could try this one again. I've had a few different financial-oriented challenges in mind, partially because I always want the cash to mean something. When you find the cash in the safe, I want to care. I want to be like, oh, I got cash. I have a realtor one that I have been working on for at least since January. I have an amazing thumbnail for it. I made Monopoly-style cards, property cards for all the different locations, but it's so complicated. And that is the problem. And to a lesser extent, budget. Budget was also a complicated edit because I had to have this running total of how much money did I have, and you got to get the cash registers down in. I love editing. I love to edit. But it was a lot of work, and the ones that are more work do slow me down. So I think there's a good idea inside budget, but I think it needs to be streamlined a bit. But I did have a good time with it. Like I said, all of these were fun on some level. Can I lope 10 days as a burglar? This is my most popular series in terms of views. Can I Lope 10 Days as a Burglar, the first episode, has like 2,000 something views. I think this is one of the ones Zach shouted out. Burglar has really, really basic rules, and I like them. You can only go into any location one time. After you've broken in, you have to have 2 rocks to break into a location. And then once you've been there, you can stay as long as you want. You can loot as many things as you want, but you can never come back because they've seen you and now you're wanted. And really simple, easy to understand, challenging enough to make every day interesting, but there's a lot of fun to it. I feel like I would do this one again. I've used burglar rules on Twitch several times. I think burglar, if I was only remembered for one idea or one challenge, this would be the one I would want to be remembered for. I think burglar is just rock solid. I really, really like it. And if there was a second favorite idea I've had, it's this one, Chef. I love Chef. Chef is probably, let's see, because we did Chef twice. We did Can I Lope 10 Days as a Chef, and then we came back to it and did it again, because the first time failed due to Dunn shenanigans. And so we came back and we did it a second time. First one ended in Mountain Town, up by what I call the ranger station. I got fascinated by the fact that the wolves were kind of circling the building, so I went outside to look at them and they got me. It was really stupid. So we came back, we tried it again, and we got to the 10 days, and then we kept going. And Chef is still going today. Day 34 is where the Chef is at. Rules for Chef, really basic. All the good ones, I feel, have really basic, easy to understand rules, which is anything you eat has to have 2 ingredients to it. One of those ingredients can be water, but you have to have at least 2 ingredients to anything you're consuming except water itself. You can still drink water, but all the food, so cattails, nope, can't eat them. Venison, nope, can't eat it. That's not 2 ingredients. You need 2 things. So, that means broth, acorns, stews, pies, teas, It's a really interesting challenge, and I'm having a great time with it. Still playing it today, and yeah, Chef is definitely fun, challenging, and I would keep doing it. Can I Lope 10 days as a clean slate? This one, very basic. At the start of each new day, you drop everything you have and start with a clean slate. You drop your entire inventory and start over every day for 10 days. And I think this one caught me off guard. This is probably the hardest of all the challenges we've done. It was really, really difficult. And I don't think I succeeded, as I remember. In fact, I think I might not have gotten past 3 or 4 days on multiple attempts. Very, very hard. On Interloper, I have tried this same mode on Voyager, and it's much more fun because there's enough loot on Voyager that you can, kind of pick yourself back up. But, if you're in like Mystery Lake, like a region where there's not a lot of guaranteed matches, and you've already found the only matches, and then you got to drop them. It got difficult. It got very, very difficult. I'm going to put this in challenging only because for me at the Interloper level, this one was too hard to be fun. You certainly could do some tweaks with it, and maybe it would get better. Can I Lope 10 days contaminated? So the idea here was, and this was right after the Zone of Contamination released, and the idea here was I would get the chemical poisoning, and then I would maintain it for the 10 days. At the time, I didn't really know how chemical poisoning worked because it was brand new. And chemical poisoning, and I may not even be calling it the right thing, but it's, when you go into the green clouds and you get sick and you cough and stuff, all it does is pull off your condition. All it does is pull off your health. It's no different than frostbite. It's frostbite that goes away, is all it is. And so then it just once I realized that, I was in too deep, and it just kind of became a, Zone of Contamination challenge. Because I'm frequently low condition anyway, so it's not like, I need all that condition. I do not honestly remember if we made it to 10 days or not. I think we did. Again, I'm not going to say I didn't have fun, but as a Can I Lope challenge, I don't really think I might as well have called it Can I Lope with Frostbite, because it was kind of the same thing. I'm going to put that in Misfire. Even though I like it, and I feel like it's worth watching, particularly if you want to see someone explore Zone of Contamination, which I think is a really cool map. I think Zone of Contamination is the best. It's my favorite of the Far Territory maps. I like them all. I'm learning to like Sundered Pass. We're spending some time apart, and then we will try to rekindle things again. I like FA. FA's fine. I think I probably like FA more than the average player because it seems like there's a lot of negative FA opinion. Transfer passes, it's just there. It's fine. Far range branch line, I think is actually kind of cool. But I like Zone of Contamination. I think it's a very impressively designed map. Okay, Can I Lope 10 days with 500 cattails? So this was to celebrate getting 500 subscribers to the channel. And so the idea is basic, which is by the end of the 10 days, I needed to have 500 cattails on me. And this ended up being more fun and more challenging than I thought. I had a very good time with this. It was more dramatic than I thought it would be. And it was interesting to watch my, kind of weight go down, or my carrying capacity go down as I'm carrying more and more and more cattails. It's also the hardest I think I ever worked on a thumbnail, because I had to get those couple images of a cattail transparent and then just kind of copy and paste. I wanted this visual of Will just drowning in a sea of cattails, and with anything, you always, you have a vision of what you want it to look like, and then you work inside the limitations of what you can do. And I'm pretty happy with how it came out. I had a great time with 500 Cattails. And it was challenging, not in the way I thought it would be, but it was challenging to get the 500 in 10 days. I don't think I would do it again, but I do think it was both fun and challenging. Okay, can I lope 10 days on a game show? This is the one that's going on currently, and the idea is that I have to answer trivia questions asked by my wife, who it's super fun to have her on the video. And to do stuff with her and to share this game and this experience with her has been great. And if I get the questions right, so like there's a certain category is tied to a certain type of thing you can pick up, like tools. So if I get this right, then fire and tools I can pick up. If I get it wrong, then it doesn't matter if there's matches in there, I can't pick them up. And that's been really fun. It is more challenging, I think, than, I don't want to say it isn't fun. The fun part is goofing around with Annie. and the questions are fun. I don't know how much it adds to the game play other than handicapping me a lot. So it is fun and challenging, and I would repeat it, except, and this is why this is going to go, and this will be controversial, this series isn't even done, but this needs some tweaks. And I will tell you why. This thing is a nightmare to edit because I kind of have to watch the entire video over again to catch all the places where there were questions. And then there's a period when there are questions, you got to edit in the music. You got to edit in the different sound effects for whether I got the question right, got the question wrong. You got to bring in the game screen, which I'm really happy with how that came out. You got to bring in, the check marks and the X's for which is right, which is wrong. It all looks great. It looks fantastic. But I'm really, really happy with how it looked. And I learned a lot doing it. But it takes a long time. And I don't have that much time. I generally have about an hour and a half to work on YouTube stuff a day. And this is a hobby, And, I gave myself a challenge that I wanted to put out new long dark content every single day. And I thought I could do it. And I have been doing it. I've been doing it all year. I haven't missed a day yet. And this takes about twice as much time as I have, because it's about an hour and a half to edit and it's about an hour to record, and it takes her time. And so I think I would do this again if I could find a way to make the production side of it easier. But for now, I feel like it's needs some tweaks. And I think that's the trend with the needs some tweaks, is that they're too complicated. Can I lope 10 days as a ghost? So this was me playing around with the cheat death mechanic, which is like my favorite thing from the new content. I love the cheat death mechanic. I think it's almost Bethesda-like, Skyrim-like. Even its bugs are features because it adds so much unpredictable challenge to the game. And I mean, I have picked near away is not a word. I have picked near and risky, and found myself in, I'm still a map and a half away from where I was. And I have picked far away and safe and found myself, inside a cave with a wolf. So it's very, very unpredictable. It adds a lot of challenge. I had a really good time with Can I Lope 10 Days as a Ghost? And I think it's a mode. I think you can. I gave myself one day. And then after one day, I could prep as much as I wanted. Didn't really know how cheat death worked. And then after one day, I had to die. And then after that, for the rest of the run, whenever the mechanic or the affliction was supposed to wear off, then I would go die again. And I had a good time with it. I had a really good time with it. Would I do it again? It's borderline. I think I'm more likely to do it again than Afflicted or Bloodlust or Cattails. I think I'm more likely to do Cattails than Bloodlust. but I think I gotta put it. Can you get in the front there? Yeah, I think it's the most likely that I would go repeat of those, but I'm not sure I would do it again. Okay, can I lope 10 days as a miner? So this idea was that I could only sleep in caves and mines, and I could only use coal for fuel. And this was much harder than I thought it was going to be. Much harder. It was much harder than I thought it was going to be. And very cool. It didn't necessarily, the idea was, it was supposed to teach me where beds were in caves, what caves had beds. And I don't really feel like that happened. So I feel like this one also is somewhere between needs some tweaks and fun and challenging. I did have fun. I was definitely challenged. But I don't think I would roll it back out with the exact same rules because it didn't achieve its objective. I think I'm going to put that in needs some tweaks. Okay, can I lope 10 days naked? Really basic. Really basic. You just drop all your clothes and you never wear clothes again. And you're just free and naked as a bird. And it was very fun. I do not remember it being particularly challenging. And that sounds like a flex. I don't even remember if I ended up winning. But I feel like you can work around it. You know, if with teas and fire, it is a lot easier to live without clothes than it is to live without fire, as you know, we'll see in a second. And you can kind of work around it if you're careful. And I don't, my gut memory, which could be completely wrong, was that at the end of it, I was like, that wasn't really that bad. It wasn't as hard as I thought it was, but I do remember it being fun. So I'm going to put that in fun. Okay, can I lope 10 days without fire? This was the original challenge. This is the first one we did. And I guess I can talk about where the whole idea came from. The idea came from the fact that I wanted to do daily long dark content. I wanted to do Interloper. And I didn't want to do just another Let's Play. There's a million Let's Plays out there. And I don't have anything really to add to that. I can't, that's well covered. So instead, I wanted to say, well, my favorite part of Interloper is that early period where you're just struggling and clawing and scraping by and hoping to find things. I find that to be the most compelling part. It's often the most compelling part of most games. I'm a big Civ player, and my favorite part of Civ is like the first 100 turns. Like it's so fun to see what you can build. So I wanted to do the first 10 days, and then I'm like, well, we got to put a hook in here. We need some kind of challenge. It's not enough to just say, can I lope 10 days? Because I can. I won't always succeed, but I think I'll succeed most of the time. So let's put a hook in. And I remember thinking, wow, well, no fire. So the idea with this, now I know that the Deadpool did no fire challenge and lived 50 something days. I didn't get anywhere near that. I did restrict myself that I could not use a flare or a match for any purpose. And so I could not use them for light. I thought the problem would be water. And it kind of was. But in the end, I was trapped in Pleasant Valley and couldn't get out because I had no light source. I couldn't find a lantern. And I knew there was no point. If I could find a lantern, I could have gotten to Mystery Lake. And, there's toilets in the dam. And then I could have gone to Mountain Town. And I think I could have made it. But I couldn't get through the mine. And there was no point going to Timberwolf Mountain. There was no water there. And I couldn't use matches even if I found them. So it becomes a toilet water challenge if you restrict fire. And for that purpose, I feel like this actually, keeping in mind that I had a good time with all of these, I think it definitely leaned harder on the challenge side than the fun side. Because one of the things that I really like about a challenge is when a challenge continues to evolve. over the course of the 10 days. And good ones do that. No fire is the same on day 10 as it is on day 1. Nothing really has changed with how you're dealing with it. It is still the same thing. You're still worrying about the same thing. Whether day 30, can I find a toilet? That's literally the entire challenge. And so I feel like while that one is challenging, it's borderline misfire in terms of would I do it now? I don't think I would do it now, not without changing it, not without tweaking it. We could conceivably put it in tweaks. It's a very understandable challenge, and in a short term, it's something that every Long Dark player deals with. You often don't have fire early, or you run out of matches or whatever. But to just never have it, well then, you're looking for water, you're looking for toilets, and it became, that's it. So I'm going to leave it in challenging only. It could fall in any of those 3 categories. Can I lope 10 days without meters? I love no meters. No meters basically means I turn the UI off. I then also put stickies all over the screen so that I can't see, because you would think that if you turned off the UI, then you don't know anything. But that's not enough. If you can still see, when you open doors, you will still see a quick flicker of your meters. If you drink something or eat something, it will still show you those meters being filled. You can still see your weight. I wanted less information. So I put a bunch of stickies all over my screen. I would tape them to my monitor and just get by almost exclusively on what Astrid said. And it was great. I loved it. It is in the sweet spot. It is in the sweet spot where it stays interesting because it kind of expands and impacts all aspects of gameplay. And it makes you look at the game differently, or made me look at the game differently than I normally do. I love challenges that take something away that you usually use and force you to lean in a direction you don't normally lean, or do something that you don't normally do. That's what I wanted Miner to be. I wanted Miner to make me sleep in caves, and it didn't really do that. So No Meters is fantastic. I play No Meters Voyager all the time. It's actually kind of my preferred way to play Voyager. So that's going all the way to the top here. And there's a reason why. All 3 of these on top, they all became weekend series because they are fun to play long term. And I'm really happy with all of them. No sound. So no sound was just me taking the headphones out, which I just held them up for a camera that is not running, so you can't see that. But I took the sound away from the game. I didn't take the sound away from you, the listener. I only took it away from me. And I thought a lot about whether I should also take it away from the viewer. But I decided it would be more interesting if you could hear the stuff that I can't. And you could hear a bear growling or a wolf following me, which did happen a couple times. Having said that, it wasn't particularly hard, which surprised me. I thought it would be very hard to exist without sound, but it wasn't that bad. And I feel like as an interesting or compelling challenge, this one was probably a misfire. I feel like I think it's an interesting way to play, but I'm not sure that it made for a compelling video. This is just my opinions. I had a good time, always. I always have a good time. Okay, can I lope 7 days as Santa? So the idea behind Santa, which is a challenge that predates the entire Can I Lope setup, because I've done it on Twitch for a couple of years now, is that you are Santa, and you have to craft improvised hats. Not gloves, because they take too much cloth. Improvised hats, and you have to leave them at fireplaces around Great Bear Island. And the more hats you leave, the more points you score. And how many can you score in 7 days? Because I don't know why I picked 7 instead of 12. 12 days of Christmas. I don't know. I picked 7. And I like it. I think it's fun. It adds value. Like a place that has a fireplace and a stove, you can leave a hat in each location. so that's like more valuable. It makes maps like Coastal Highway very important because you can score a whole lot of points there. I like it. It's a good challenge to compete with your friends at, and it's a good time. It is fun and challenging, and I repeat it every year. So it's good times. It's good times. Can I Lope 10 days as a secret agent? This is super fun. I asked my 3 friends, the Hobbits, Koru and Thistle, Very Tiny Burb, and the Peach Bee, to each give me secret missions. So they would tell me where I had to spawn, and then each of them gave me a mission one at a time. And they pre-recorded lines, and it was like in an envelope. And so I didn't know when I spawned, I didn't know what I had to do. And then I got one mission from Koru, and she said, okay, go do this thing. And then I went and did that. And when I completed that mission, then I got the next mission, and then the next mission. And super, super fun. Super fun. I had a great time. Anytime I can use a different musical theme. By the way, I love the Can I Lope standard music theme. So happy with that. But anytime I can bring in some kind of different music, it was fun to find spy music. And this, I think my thumbnails start getting better after this one. I think this is the one that I really started getting more creative with my thumbnail stuff, and working with Canva, which is where I make the thumbnails more. And so I think this one's great. I would do it again, absolutely, because it could be 3 completely different challenges. So I feel like that's absolutely fun, challenging, and I would repeat it. Can I Lope 10 days while stinky? I think of all the challenges I've done, this might be the one I'm the most proud of. This one's pretty basic. Get to 3 stink lines and just stay there and live for 10 days. I remember going from Anglers in Ash Canyon, and this is before I knew the goat up to the respite, which is how I get up to the backpack now. But back then, I didn't know that. So the only way I knew was through the wolf nest. And so I've got my 3 stink lines. I'm going up past Anglers. I'm going behind the waterfall. And there's that, like, those 2 rock climbs. And there's a rock climb, and then there's a ledge. Not a rope climb, but like a little hand-over-hand climb. And then there's a ledge, and there's the other one. So I stopped at the ledge because I wanted to get ready for the wolf nest. And I got a fire going, and I hear the wolves, and I look up, and all 4 of them are right at the top of the hand-over-hand. I've never seen anything like it. Like, wolves were just on my ass the entire time. And it was super, super fun. It was really, really fun. I don't know that I would repeat it because I'm not sure that there's anything left to say on that. But if you haven't tried this, I had a blast. They're just all over you all the time. It's great, and it really made me better at dealing with wolves. So I feel like that was a complete success. I wouldn't repeat it, but I would put it probably between these 2. Yeah, in terms of definitely fun, definitely challenging. I got a big grin on my face right now. I had a great time with it. Railroad Inspector. This was suggested by one of our viewers, and this was pretty cool. So you walk the length of the rail line, which starts in Coastal Highway and goes all the way to the zone of contamination. And the idea is that you're going to mark every point where the tracks are broken, and you need to mark it so that they can repair it. And I added a little rule that you actually could repair it yourself. So I gave myself points for marking them and then points for repairing them. I think repairing required scrap metal and a fuse, because I hate that you find the fuses and you can't do anything with it. And this ended up being a lot harder than I thought. Oh, the other rule was that you could only sleep in places that you could see from the tracks. I didn't make it all the way. I made it to Transfer Pass and died there. I think I made it the 10 days, but I don't think I got to the end of the line. One of the challenges is that determining what is an actual break in the rails versus what is a graphical issue gets hard after a while. And it doesn't really start happening, weirdly, until the new content. I don't think I saw any of this until Far Range Branch Line. I could be wrong in my memory here. But everything before that was pretty cut and dry. But after that, it was very like, is this really a break in the rails? Or is this just like, you know, the graphics didn't get finished? And sometimes tracks look like they're overlapping each other, depending on what angle you're looking at them. So it got a bit tricky at the end. The having to sleep somewhere that you could see from the tracks was a good add. Because it definitely added another challenge to it. It was neat. It was neat. I would say fun, challenging. I don't know if I repeated it. I actually think I'm borderline, you know, because I didn't get the job done, and I want to get the job done. But I don't know, you know, the first 80% of it would be the same. Unless I started from the other end. I guess that's possible. I don't know that I would want to spawn in zone of contamination first, though. So I'm not sure if it's achievable in 10 days. It may not be. That's a long way to walk. Better players than me, I'm sure, could get it, though. But I had a good time with it. And finally, Can I Lope 10 Days Unburdened? This was probably the first challenge that I did that was specifically designed to work on something I felt was a hole in my game, which was that I'm a pack rat. I'm a loot goblin. I loot everything. I carry everything. I'm always overburdened. And so the idea here is that you can never be overburdened. If you're overburdened, you got to drop something. You can never be overburdened. And my memory is that not only did I make it to 10 days, my memory is I don't think I got overburdened ever. Like, to the point where I had to drop something, I don't think I ever got overburdened, period. And I do think if you compare me now to me a year ago, I think I manage my weight better. I think I am not as overburdened as frequently as I used to be. And I think this challenge was part of getting me there. And so I feel like I don't know that I would do it again, but it was a fun challenge to have to decide, okay, what am I going to pick up? What am I going to drop? So I would put it in no repeat, but it was fun and challenging. So that's all 20 of them. And, you know, the majority of them, let's see, if we were to consider positives to be, they're all positive, by the way. They're all fun. But if we were to consider the positives like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's half of them are in the top 2 right here, and then 11, 12, then you've got 3 here. And I mean, if we take these bottom 5, budget, game show, both they're only, okay, let me restate that. Budget's only real problem is it's too complicated. Game show's only problem is that it's time consuming to edit. Like if I had somebody to do the editing, game show would be great. Minor, I think just didn't do for me what I needed it to do. It's almost in the misfire category, but I like it. And then Can I Lope? I almost think I will put minor in misfire now that I think about it, because it really, all 3 of these didn't challenge me in the way I wanted to be challenged. They didn't achieve the goal that I set out for. And you know, one of the things that I wanted to do was to, you know, just keep moving. So, you know, I plan this stuff like a day or 2 before I start, and I learn it as I go. And, you know, I've definitely gotten 3 or 4 parts into a series and understood, okay, this isn't what I thought it was going to be, but you got to keep going. You got to keep going. And you get to the end, use that, don't quit. You get to the end, you use that to build the next one. So that's all 20 of these. I'm very happy with Can I Lope in general. And I get about 1 a week of somebody will be like, what the hell is Lope? Which is funny. I love that Zach calls it Cantaloupe. I'm really, really proud that we've had this many people watch these videos, and all of you who subscribe. I just appreciate that so very much. It's such a validation of the idea. And all I ever want to do with The Long Dark is have fun. And I did have fun in all 20 of these series, so they're all successful from that point. And if any of you take these challenges and go use them or make your own challenges based on them, that's awesome. Like, that's great. You know, for me, the idea of, you know, like creating videos for the Long Dark, for me, I came to realize what I wanted to teach, if I teach anything, is just how to have a good time with it. Because the other stuff is well covered by the Zaks, the Archimedes, you know, the Hadrians and the Basharobes and Thomasinas and the Thenons, and like, there's so much great Long Dark content out there. We are so fortunate to have such a great content creating community. And my apologies to anybody that I didn't mention there. I mean, Koru puts out content, and B puts out content, and you know, Koru is doing basically daily stuff as well. I just wanted to have fun, and I am having fun, and I hope you guys did too. I think I will wrap this up here, and I'll be back tomorrow with more adventures in the Long Dark. Thank you very much for watching. And if you could give me the like, the comment, the subscribe, those do all really help me. And I'll be back next time. Until then, stay safe, take care of each other, have a great day. Bye-bye.